Hello everybody, I'm here from the Here Game Channel. Welcome back to my Kingdom of Scotland playthrough on the Disunited Kingdom submod for Kaiserreich. But as you can see, yeah, we're not the Kingdom of Scotland and England anymore. We're now the United Kingdom. And yeah, Colbert Campbell's here. I'm hoping he's going to be gone soon. Whenever that may be, and hopefully we can get the king back. But anyways, we have our main chaos, which is the only national spirit we have so far. And we do have a small tree, but it's still a little expansion on what we've already been doing. So let's go ahead and do the Reconstruction Authority. So the BRA begins operation. Sadly, we do not get our generals and field marshals, which I'm quite disappointed by. We've now just got John Verriker and our generals Ronald Scobie. That is all we have, which I was slightly disappointed by. The Reconstruction Authority announced, while the monarchy has been restored to the British Isles, many policymakers feel that the country needs to undergo a difficult de-syndicalisation process. Syndicalist rule permeated deep into British culture and society, as well as the economy, so that must be rebuilt along with the many homes that were laid waste during the war. On the steps of the damaged Westminster Parliament, Prime Minister Henry Page Croft, who is definitely not here, announced to a hopefully but not enthusiastic crowd that the BRA, or British Reconstruction Authority, have been created and granted broad governing powers to see the rejuvenation process done as swiftly as possible. Let's hope it works. So we're now the British Reconstruction Authority. And let's have the construction engineers, please. So as you can see, I also do have control of Brittany now, and the French Republic also have half of the control of France. Nice needs to be, there we go. Sardinia also has control of Italy, and they've decided to get the Duchy of Modena, and also Lombardia. That is fine, they can do as they please with that. But anyways, the liberation of the United Kingdom. After years of exile and struggle, the royal families returned to the United Kingdom in triumph. It's a glorious day for Britain and the Empire, all of whom are thankful to the United Kingdom for its valiant service to the cause of tradition and world order. God save the king. So you mean, oh, he's back. Albert is back. The new British Army. The restoration, okay, right. For the restoration of the United Kingdom, a large number of British exiles who had been drafted into the Canadian Army and now the first to return home. They reassembled into a number of Home Guard units desperately needed to maintain order. Soon to follow them are the senior generals and admirals who have been serving in Canada up until now, all of whom are incredibly pleased to see the home isles once again. 19 divisions will be raised throughout the country. Boom. Did we get any leaders back yet? Oh, we have generals. It's a shame that none of them are our Scottish boys, but at least we have Claude now. Claude is here. And Ordie Wingate is actually pretty decent. Well, Richard O'Connor looking very old and different than his usual portrait. Yes, we have some decent generals in here, so we should be fine. The restoration. At long last, King Albert I entered Westminster Abbey today to properly crowned as virtually all English and later British monarchs have been throughout history. Today is a glorious day, one that will mark a new beginning of the United Kingdom. After the coronation over, however, the king and his government will find the task of rebuilding the country is just beginning. With 96 factories, I think we're at a pretty good starting point. The country's army is in a difficult position. With an organisation, it will need to be started over from scratch. The economy is completely upended, just as it was after the uprising, and the fate of the Britain's former syndicalist rulers must be decided upon. Post-war devastation, the legacy of revolution, and obviously we have army and chaos. Oh, flippin' Nora, that's bad. Oofty oofed. The exiles return, which is giving us a nice wee boost, but oh damn, do we need to sort our stuff out right now. 19 more divisions though. Here we go. Because I have to have everything just, you know, a right way. Definitely not OCD at all. Right, we need to sort our stuff out because we are hoping to strike Germany. Oh, British Indian aid arrives. Sorely need assistance from our British Indian allies arrived today. South African aid has arrived. Exiles encounter resistance. Those British citizens who fled in United Kingdom after they felt the syndicalist rule of the exiles have encountered increasing resistance now as they begin to return to the country in large numbers. Disputes over the ownership of homes and estates which have been abandoned are frequent, and resentment towards the wealthy exiles who return untouched by the war and poverty has become the norm. King Albert launched a radio appeal to the British people, reminding them that the exiles are the very reason their freedom has been regained. They are not returning conquerors, but lost lambs brought back into the flock. Even so, many believe it will take years to heal the social divide between those two groups. It wasn't even the exiles that saved us. It was the glorious Scots. Now I don't even know what's happening with them. I wish we got the leaders. That would have made sense. Across the United Kingdom, stores and factories are closed to the British. Oh, this is just Liberty Day. I'm not going to read that. Well, let's hop straight up to partial mobilization. The Canadian Governor-General. Now that King Albert has returned to the United Kingdom, he can no longer sit personally in the Canadian House of Commons. Very true. The time has come to appoint a Governor-General to stand in his stead. The question is to whom to send. I don't know. Rewarding one of our generals with a prestigious post will certainly look good to our military. The Canadians might appreciate rewarding one of their own instead. Give the job to Lord Mountbatten, subsenior naval commander. I kind of want to keep him. Joe Fish, subsenior. Do you know what? Let the Canadians choose a representative. And we have now Andrew McNaughton. Welcome. Trade mission from the Australasian Confederation. The government of the Australasian Confederation has approached us regarding the possibility of a new bilateral trade agreement between our countries. In return for dropping the tariffs in place currently restricting imports, they promised to do the same for British goods. Yes, and there's one decision that I want to... Oh. Influence of the monarchy. Okay, that is a lot of stuff we'll look at in a second. There's one down here. Request to transfer Hong Kong. It automatically just gives me it. We have Hong Kong, boy. It's back. It's British once more. But, oh my days, these decisions that have been opened up. Right, we're not going to be leaving the IEDC. The reigning monarch in the United Kingdom is King Albert I, a symbol of tradition and Europe as it should be. He remains a potent figure, particularly now that Home Isles has been retaken. Is not currently occupied elsewhere. We'll add war support in the United Kingdom and all allied countries based on King Albert's popularity. Begin a British royal tour. Increasing the United Kingdom stability, war support, mobilisation speed, and army morale for up to a full year. Support the Prime Minister. Oh my gosh, that's cool. We can even go to Yucatan because why the hell not? Well, we'll keep that open. The influence of the monarchy. Cool. Syndicalist militias remain active. Now, there's a feeling amongst most Britons that the war is over and their willingness to fight has been exhausted. There remain a number of syndicalist militia groups. They're still active. They remain hidden both in the northern foothills and buried deep within the United Kingdom's larger urban areas. Militia leaders are reportedly trying to stoke resistance against King Albert and the tyrannical Reconstruction Authority, and while they have been met with very limited success so far, it can only get worse if the Brad takes actions that anger socialists more. Oh, gosh dang it, syndicalist resistance. Right, we're going to have to be careful with that then. I think what is needed is, we cannot do this, we have to restore MI6. Nice, where is MI6? Portuguese aid arrives, fantastic. Oh, restore MI6 is down here. Apply the upgrade form department to your intelligence agency. How else do we get rid of some of these negative modifiers? I'm presuming down here. Oh, Union soldiers return. Now that the war is done, surviving soldiers who fought for the Union of Britain have begun to trickle back into the cities. Some still injured, but most simply fearful that they will suffer repercussions for something they had no control over. Many are looking to re-enlist into the military, and the British Army is by no means ready to accept them just yet. Even so, oh, sorry, I got a sore eye. Itchy. These men being treated as veterans. They will mean treating their injuries and providing them with stipends. A large number of Britons have sympathy for them, but there were also the same men who, until just recently, were killing their own countrymen for the syndicalists. How should that be rewarded? They were only doing as they were told. Give them full support. It gives us manpower. Why the hell wouldn't it give them our support? All is forgiven. All is forgiven. Oh, Montgomery. It's good to have you. Come on down. So we'll see how the Germans do, because we do want to take them down. I'll happily split Germany 50-50 between me and Russia for the time being. But then again, we're nowhere near ready for war. This is all kind of too much for us to deal with right now. Exile relief effort begins. While Britons may not be yet grateful for the presents, the returning exiles are undoubtedly in the best position to offer relief to those in the United Kingdom who have been left ravaged by the war. Lord Mountbatten has led the way, spending millions of his own funds to set up a homeless relief shelter in the heart of Manchester and Liverpool, as colonies' fellow exiles have followed suit. Soup kitchens and tent cities have sprung up from one end of the country to the next, some government funded by many underwritten by the wealthiest exiles. Most of whom have expressed, like Lord Mountbatten, that it is their duty to help those who have been left behind. A welcome sight. So let's go ahead and bin all these templates and get everybody on the Syndicalist Militia one. We should really probably just change the name of that. It's not Syndicalist Militia at all. British bankruptcy increases. Well, that is not good. Vauxhall Motors Limited closed the doors on its Luton headquarters today, making it the third major bankruptcy declaration since the creation of the BRA. Most of these large companies have transferred over to union ownership during British rule, and with the future of the unions a serious question, it has left these companies in a state of limbo and without leadership. The BRA is preparing to step in and seize temporary ownership of the corporations that threaten to close in this manner, though doing would still leave them in a state where their production is at a standstill. If the situation is not resolved soon, British unemployment levels could reach record heights within months. This is not good. Let's continue. We do not have army experience to change anything right now. We can change the name though. British Infantry. That's what we'll call it. Why not? Here we go. Unless, actually, there's a template that's actually better suited for us, which we probably have already deleted. With Parliament itself restored, Prime Minister Henry Pagecroft, is he actually here now? He is here, good. Standing next to King Albert, stood on its steps to announce that the British Reconstruction Authority was officially underway. Members of Parliament already streaming into the building for the first session, where discussions would be held on the emergency lifting of import restrictions, and there was a definite feeling among the large crowd that things were soon going to return to normal. A few protesters holding union signs disturbed the ceremony only briefly before being led away by policemen. Let's do the fate of the unions first. Let's just get them dealt with. And we can go ahead and start doing our royal visits as well if we really want to do so. Okay, reconstruction of... oh, what is this? Oh gosh. Effects of post-war devastation will be lessened by a small amount. Right, okay. By the looks of things, we'll have to kind of work on this. Given the green light by the BRA, a huge number of reconstruction projects have begun operation throughout the country. With loan restrictions loosened or outright ignored, the construction companies have been able to hire on many thousands of eager workers and begin the process of restoring homes to Britain's teeming numbers of homeless families. As the first houses had their frames put up, clearing watchers said it was the first real feeling of hope they've experienced in many months. Pass the Land Settlement Act. Implement Abercrombie Plan. Also known as the Greater Lynn Plan, the damage done to the country's capital has left many thousands in the city homeless. Major work will have to be done to rebuild it, but at the same time we have an opportunity to revamp the city's transportation and zoning network to make up for so many centuries of haphazard growth and planning. There are many of the researchers such as CARE and the Red Cross who are eager to come into Britain. Their help is sorely needed, but some kind of agency to coordinate them is desperately required. Arthur Horner surrenders to the police. While most of the Union of Britain's syndicalist leaders have either gone into hiding or, as with Oswald Mosley, fled the country entirely, Arthur Horner today appeared and surrendered himself to the British police. Even though he knew this would mean being placed on trial, he said, "I cannot in good conscience abandon my socialist brothers and sisters. We may have lost the war, but the battle is still being fought for workers everywhere. If they are to be put on trial for their ongoing fight against oppression, and so shall I." Horner's supporters turned up in large numbers to silently watch him being led to prison. His actions appear to have stirred up syndicalist support, which had been thought withered away by the war. Oh, get away. Decentralize the economy. I think we should definitely have to spend a lot of time on doing these. Past the veteran employment by a large amount. Yeah, we do need to deal with post-war devastation because that is absolutely killer right now. If we have a look at that, that is absolutely smacking us down. We will not be able to expand at all, really. Nope. Oh, they decided to do Kingdom of Italy. Good job, Sardinia. I'm glad you did that. Nice, because it means they actually do annex all of that land. That is good. Have you done come home? Oh, you've done Return Marseille. Fantastic. So that removes some of their national spirit. So start building up an army, please. Start building up an army. Start just getting yourself together. The Germans have got a war to deal with right now. We'll have a look how that's kind of affecting their economy and themselves. Oh, the Kingdom of Scotland and England. You shall be remembered. Oh yeah, the Venezuelan Australasian War is still ongoing. I am not involved in this. I have actually the most divisions near enough. Canada has 53 more. I guess this is the war? Yes. Germany has lost 800 and... Well, they're losing men. And Russia's lost 1.5. Do you know what? I reckon we might be able to just steamroll both of them. Of course, we will have to deal with the Austrians because they like sticking their beaky nose right in the war when the opportunity arises. But let's get these guys exercising. That's what I meant to do before. Oh, the Entente Air Training Scheme. Yes, we shall join this. We shall join the air training scheme. Ah, the fate of the unions. Fantastic. Right. The defeat of the Union of Britain brought with it the destruction, of the old trade unions that supported the syndicalist regime. However, there's still the question of whether British workers should be allowed to organise on a local basis to defend their interests. Indeed, there's an entire infrastructure of labour groups ready, and waiting to begin setting up unions once again. I'm merely waiting to see what the government considers acceptable now. Banning them entirely will not go over well with these groups, to say the least. One argument is that the government should set up a small number of controlled unions and ban the rest. Still, others say that unions aren't the problem and trying to get rid of them now will only invite disaster. We'll have no unions in Britain, ban them all. I think what we should do is go for set up the government controlled unions, ban the rest. Just so the government does actually have control of them. The fate of unions is very separate from the union leadership. Okay, we're dealing with the leadership now. And then we'll start doing this. I think we're going to jump straight into past the Veteran Employment Act. It costs 300 to do that. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that. New protests over banning of unions. Labour supporters took to the streets across the country today, angrily protesting the government's plan to take control of unions. The fact that several will continue to exist under government control is considered far from acceptable. We're right back where we started, aren't we? One woman demanded over reports. If we allow this, then the government will walk all over us again. Give them their unions before this escalates. We're not backing down. Oh gosh, if we cause a flippin' civil war. And the unions has risen up against us once more. Hopefully not. Why am I stopping you? It's a compromise. We cannot just allow them to have their way. Syndicalist. Oh, wartime rationing ends. Hey, a bit of good news to greet the country today. Wartime rationing, which most endured for well over a year now, and in some cases much longer, has officially been lifted by BRA authorities. Import restrictions have been removed, and already British supermarkets have seen the return of their meats, cheeses and fruits that all but vanished since syndicalist rule began. For many Britons, even though many still have their meals funded by the government, this is a sign that things are substantially improving. Good, excellent. Fantastic. Let's start small. The Pigo report. The beverage report. Venezuela has been annexed by the Canadians. Ah, I forgot to Buenos Limitas. Oh, more anger over the union bans. Protests over the bans against have continued, particularly in Wales and Scotland. Whoa, Scotland, what are you doing? Labour leaders are maintaining their position that allowing the government to control when and where the British worker can stand up for themselves will inevitably lead to exploitation. Thankfully, it seems as if the protests are losing steam, though. At the same time, there's evidence that syndicalist militias are also taking on a lot of recruits. Oh, this could get uglier. Oh no, maybe I should have just flipping allowed them to continue. Saying that, we're starting trials. The question of labour. Civilian. Fight the syndicalist resistance. Right, we need to get to that as soon as, I think. We're getting there, slowly but surely. There's not much else for us to do except from work on those. Oh, I love the shade of green for the Italians right now. They really need to start building divisions though. And again, you have no manpower. Are these considered core for you? Occupied state. Why are they just occupied states for you? They should be cores. Yeah, they really should be cores. I will sort that out myself. This should be cores, because it's Kingdom of Italy, unless they get them later on. We use to claim territory. I think they have a thing to core all once they have control of all, so we're going to have to just leave them as they are, I think. Henley, Pagecroft and Maxwell Knight, you're both terrible for us. It's not like I can change you anyways, which is a shame. But the trials are almost begun. Let's see what the event is going to be for this. Right, syndicalist trials begin. The trials begun for those syndicalist leaders captured by British forces, including Arthur Horner, who turned himself into police not long ago. Horner's trial has received considerable attention in the British media, and he's spoken eloquently about the need for Britain to come to terms with its history of labour, but also its future. Indeed, there are some who regret giving him the platform at all, as he seems to have gained many sympathisers. Some policymakers suggest that these trials are best used to make examples of the traitor, but say that harsh penalties will only inflame the resistance further. Yeah, do you know what? We're not going to make them harsh. We're going to just jail them. I hope that's what it's going to be, because the other ones sounded like they were just going to execute them. Which definitely would not have done well for dealing with resistance. But let's do the question of labour now and see what that gets us. So how's the rest of the world shaping up? We are going to have to deal with, I think, the Social Republic of America. I think we should divert our attention to them before we even deal with Germany. Protests rage against show trials. As the single trials wound down, they've attracted a fair amount of protests from Labour supporters, including the supporters Arthur Horner has only recently attracted. The sentences handed out were fairly light, seems to have taken the heat out of things, but even so, these protests say the trial should not have begun in the first place. Nothing they should apologise for, by the signs. British police kept a close eye on the protests so they did not escalate into violence. Oh my gosh. We do have a two-front war against them. But, like I said before, we are not ready to do any warring. We currently do not have the industry to deal with it. Hopefully they won't get too strong. We do have a two-front war, it's just, I hope my allies do not begin the war. Because Mexico ain't exactly got many divisions. But, yeah, we're already lacking support equipment. Oh, there's, we'll stop exercising. The returning aristocracy, reorganise the bureaucracy. That doesn't really do anything for us. We've got two events here. 1942 British elections. Free elections cancelled. Syndicalist resistance is reducing stability by 15% or more. Oh, they can do guided parliament. Turning to free government is what we're hoping to get. It is minus 6% with the syndicalists right now. There we go, we'll just put all them on there. So yes, we're looking at world events. We got this in the Socialist America to deal with. Currently, you're the only one leading on the Chinese United Front. Sheng, my hat's off to you, mate, because you're not in a great position. Incite rebellion in the south. I forgot those two were at war. India's managed to stay out of it right now. We are going to have to go about trying to sort out the empire. This war between these two is not going to be ending or, you know, sorting itself out anytime soon because they're at bottleneck. Both sides are just in a state of just going nowhere, really. Yep, and the Germans seem to be the aggressors right now because they are losing men by the thousands. Let's go jump back on to doing some land doctrine. And we'll see what this does. So support for the king's still high. Still very high. And we keep on not getting enough political power to start dealing with our issues. Portuguese aid has arrived. Yay, political power. Right, spend it before we lose it. Yeah, create the Relief Agencies Council. It's going to take 60 days to implement. At least we use the political power before it's gone. Oh my days, ban the Labour Party. Oh, okay, that's not what I was expecting. It's the Labour Party we're dealing with. Yeah, let's do the returning aristocracy. I take it needs all the following. Yeah, it does. Actually, do you know what? Let's do reorganise the bureaucracy first. With the prospect of holding free elections looming, now the government must consider when and if said elections occur, will the Labour Party be allowed to participate? Clement Attlee has presented himself in Parliament and made the case for the party, saying that while it did not cooperate with the syndicalist government, it also didn't have much choice. The Labour Party was never in a position of power in the Union of Britain, he says, and all it could do was to try and make things easier for the average citizen. The Labour movement itself should not be punished. There are those who question Attlee's motives and suggest that his personal collaboration with the Union is itself criminal. It's also clear that Labour has a huge amount of support. Banning it would prove difficult. Yet Labour and syndical... Well, saying that, Labour. Which party? Labour Party has 8%. They're not really that... Labour can stay, but Attlee has to go. Yeah, Attlee's going. I think we need him out of the picture. I'm trying to just... More South African aid now. I'm just trying to keep things 50-50. I'm not bending to their will, and I'm not wanting to just completely disapprove of them. The Romanian Republic. Oh, yes. I forgot that that happened. Oh, and I forgot that Two Sicilies was in an alliance with them. Oh, well. Hopefully when we go to war with the Germans, I think the Netherlands are with them as well, aren't they? Yeah, well, it opens up opportunities for us, but the only thing is we don't currently have a navy, and we currently don't have any naval experience. So once we've done reconstruction completed, we're not going to go down the restore the exchequer, and we're not going to go for restore the foreign office. We're going to go restore the Ministry of Defence, just so we can get the navy experience and actually start building some really crap submarines. Then we'll start sorting things out. We'll definitely need to deal with army and chaos, but I do want to start by doing the Irish question. Because that is ours, but at the same time I don't really want to take it from Ireland with force, because that means going to war with the Germans, and we're not ready for that. How are you doing? Are you starting to build up? I really hope you are. You really do have 39k. Now this hopefully is core territory. Get it as core, so they definitely have a decision to sort out their territory. That is fine. And I've got the Ottoman Empire still kicking around as well. What are they actually up to? Saying that, the Germans entice... Okay. Around the border strip. Oh! Oh, plot twist of the century. Top 10 enemy betrayals right here. Japan against the Fengshan government. And India's... That is a very even war. That is going to be very even. But Siam has also got some land. And Burma, okay. So if only you were allied with them. But hopefully something's going to happen. But I think what needs to be done is that we head out and help across the pond here. Because India definitely was not ready for that war. So let's head on over to India right now. We'll leave the home front. I know our economy is probably not ready for a war, to be quite honest. We do not have the factory output to support losing loads of equipment. But we are in the positives, which is always a good sign. So let's go over and see if we can actually do some help. I can't do any naval invasions though. Their divisions do look like they're starving from their war against the Bharatiya Communes. So does the Bharatiya Communes division. So if we can effectively win this war, then India will be in a very good position to continue their assault on the Bharatiya Commune as well. I forgot Socialist Poland was still around. Right, how are the casualties looking in the Russian-German war now? Germans have lost 1.41 million, Russians have lost 1.76, so it's pretty even. The Reichsbank itself have lost 3.32 million. With Ukraine losing just over 400k. Another high. Africa's even taken a hit, and I don't know how with only those numbers of divisions. Dutch East Indies has definitely lost divisions from this. Morocco's even sacrificed a lot for them. Another puppets got destroyed. Ireland has done a little bit. They've only got 2 to 4 divisions. Then again, were they not capitulated at one point against the Third International? I'm sure they were under their control, unless I'm thinking my Welsh playthrough. It was one of them. Let's just go past the Land Settlement Act. We'll see what effect this has, the small amount, on the post-war devastation. I think it might probably be maybe 5% max. I think it's knocked off. I'm presuming it's wanting us to work our way through all of this before it's gone. So it might not even be 5%. We might be lucky if it's flipping 2. For the most part, they're not terrible. Well, British Indian aid arrives. And don't worry, India, we've got 35 submarines. We do have a navy. We should attempt possibly a naval invasion of India then. Oh. Saying that the Portuguese are, well, they're failing. Oh, and the Bharatiya Commune has breached. Okay, they're probably going to end up getting the most of that. How are we doing? Whereabouts have we got to so far? Are we in the Red Sea yet? Oh, we're just about to get into the Red Sea. That's fantastic. Right, artillery sorted. What kind of economy policy we want? We're on export focus. Right, I do want to, well, I'm yet to try out armored cars. I really should try them out. It'd be interesting to see who starts the war in Italy first. The 2 Sicilies or the Italians? Well, Sardinia. I'm just going to continue to call them Sardinia. Shanghai, I forgot, was also with the co-prosperity sphere. I'm hoping the Fengtian government can defeat them, but only time will tell. I don't think we're really going to be needed over here as such. Because things are looking like the Bharatiya Commune is actually going to maybe deal with it themselves. We'll see. How many divisions you got, Max? Whew. Damn. The British exiles who returned to the country only to find that their lands have been stripped and their former homes are now occupied are demanding that their property be returned. The problem, of course, is that the new occupants assumed ownership legally according to the Union of Britain. So they say having their homes now stripped from them is unfair. There is simmering resentment against the aristocracy who fled after the uprising in 1925, which is feeding into growing conflict, and now the government is being called in to decide on the matter. What was there should be restored as it was illegally taken. The current owners should be compensated but must still give up. The aristocracy will be compensated for their losses. For once, I am going to side. I'm going to go for the middle again. I think it's the best approach. But anyways, a return to free elections. We shall finish off the episode with that. Free elections announced. After several months of preparations, the provisional government has completed arrangements for the first free election in Great Britain since the liberation. The King has formally issued the writ of the 660 seats in the House of Commons, and the political parties have begun their campaigns. And excitement has spread throughout the country, as even those who have harboured doubts about the government's intentions now feel like freedom is truly at hand. How liberating. Indeed, oh, what were the effects? 3%. Right, we have got a lot of bloody work to do if we need all this done. But anyways, India. We are reaching India. Might even see, we should be able to get access to a Bartia commune because we don't actually have any tensions between one another. We're just zero. We're just cool as a cucumber. But do you know what? We're at the 35-minute mark. I think I am just going to go ahead and end this episode here. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall be back tomorrow for another episode. So until then, take care, stay safe, and cheery bye the now.